While Jesus walked on the face of this earth, he performed many miracles. In fact, he did so many wonderful things that the Apostle John said that he supposed the world itself could not even contain the books that could be written about them. John chapter 20, verse 25. The Scriptures do record many specific miracles of Jesus in order that we might know that he truly is the Christ, the Son of God. John 20, verses 30 to 31. But not only can we learn wonderful things about Jesus through the miracles he did, we can also learn great things about Jesus through the miracles he did not perform. Consider a few examples with me. First, Jesus did not turn stones into bread. Jesus had been led into the wilderness by the Spirit to be tempted by the devil. Matthew 4, verse 1. During his time in the wilderness, he fasted for 40 days and nights. Matthew 4, verse 2. Afterward, he was hungry. And then Matthew 4, verse 3 says that the tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." As the Son of God, Jesus could have done this. But in doing so, he would have given in to the will of the tempter and failed to fulfill the purposes of God. And furthermore, Jesus did not perform miracles on earth to fulfill his own selfish purposes, like seeking physical food. Instead, his miracles were used to glorify God and bring about faith in those who saw and heard about them. Neither of these would be accomplished by turning these stones into bread. So even though Jesus could have performed this miracle, he responded in Matthew 4, verse 4, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." Second, Jesus did not call legions of angels to deliver him. Throughout Jesus' life, he knew that he was going to die and how he would die. Matthew 16, verses 21 to 23. Whenever the time for his betrayal and arrest was drawing near, he went to the Garden of Gethsemane and prayed fervently to the Father that there would be another way to accomplish his purposes. But if no other way would be provided, he would do the will of the Father. Luke 22, verses 39 to 46. No other way was provided. He would have to suffer and die in order to fulfill God's plan of redemption. Whenever Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss and his enemies arrested him, Peter wanted to fight. However, Jesus instructed him to put his sword away, saying in Matthew 26 and in verse 53, "Or do you think that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he will provide me with more than 12 legions of angels?" So even though Jesus could have performed a miracle to be delivered from suffering and death, he was focused on fulfilling God's plan of salvation, Matthew 26, verse 56. And third, Jesus did not take himself off the cross. After being tortured prior, Jesus had nails driven through his hands and his feet, affixing him to the cross, and there he hung, suspended between heaven and earth, struggling for each breath and awaiting his death. And during this time, people were watching him die and mocking him. In Matthew 27, verses 39 to 40, it says, "And those who passed by blasphemed him, and wagging their heads and saying, 'You who destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross.' The chief priests, scribes, and elders joined in the mocking in verses 41 to 43, saying, 'He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he is the King of Israel, let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God.' Even the robbers who were being crucified next to him joined this mockery. Yet Jesus gave himself to die. Even though Jesus could have performed a miracle to take himself off the cross, he loved you enough to die for you. Yes, Jesus performed many great miracles that demonstrate him to be the Son of God. But there's also power in knowing that Jesus did not use his miracles for self-fulfilling purposes. His love for the Father and for all mankind had precedence over his own desires.